Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is February 22nd, 2022. So it's 022222. Just interesting piece of information. Anyway, looking at the highlights of the day, U.S. markets tumble. Unbelievable moves on the downside. No major economic events scheduled for today. So as we look at the various markets, we're being affected. Lots of volatility in the market, starting out with the Forex symbols, major pairs at resistance, and they retrace at resistance. Looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both tumble in pre-market trading, and looking at commodities, gold on resistance, interestingly enough, could break higher, and oil bounces as well. Now looking at the stocks, expect some volatility in the markets today. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin continues to just trickle down. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So this is how it works, okay? Markets are trading in tandem, which means that it's real, okay? Yesterday we hit a high of 1300 and we tumbled down from it. Look at that tumble from 1371 down to 1308. A nice 60 pip move, and that was at resistance-ish area, okay? That's normal for the Euro USD, but I would have expected it to actually gain and break out higher because we're looking at the Dow Jones just tumbling. GBP also just unchanged right here, and the Aussie USD on its highs. This is more natural, so the euro really breaking down versus the dollar vis-a-vis all the other currency pairs. Now looking at first gold, look at that, 1908. We're at the top, we're at resistance, and it's resisting to go down, okay? Usually at resistance, it resists to go higher, but it's resisting to go down here, okay? So 1914 is where we're at. Potentially we could break out to 1925. That's something that could still happen. Keep an eye on this. And you got to keep an eye on what's happening in the markets also today, because if the markets continue to tumble, I'm saying the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, then I expect gold to actually pop up. Now looking at oil also, we got a little bit of a pop this morning to $93 a barrel. A nice little move from last Friday, okay? Nice little extension there, but we're trading in a range, okay? The upper range, obviously $95, lower range $89, but we're somewhere there. So keep that in mind as we continue to trade there. Now looking at the Dow Jones, look at this, okay? From last week to this week, we've tanked over almost 1,000 points, okay, from 34,000, excuse me, down to 33,500. A big retracement there altogether, okay, as this is still unfolding. Now we're at that low, okay. We hit this low back at the end of January, okay, after hitting record highs of 36,700-ish level, but we're back at that lows, and this is really a little bit disconcerting, because if we break here at 33,500, that means we're going lower, okay? So keep that in mind as this continues to unfold. Now, altogether, if we look from our 35,750 down to 33,500, somewhere in the 50% mark would be 34,300-ish level, okay? That potentially where we could be if we do bounce. But if we do break this, okay, and we break this with some oomph, well, then we got to go to a daily chart, and the next stop is at 33,000. So that's a decent drop still further on the downside there. So keep that in mind as this unfolds later today. Expect volatility. Make sure that you're taking stop losses and take profits as you go along. Now, the previous day's trading, Apple did get a little bit of a bounce. So did Microsoft get a little bit of a bounce, and Amazon still remaining decently strong, okay, in light of the current environment that we're finding ourselves, where the markets are actually finally catching up to themselves in terms of inflation, in terms of economic recovery from the pandemic, okay, as we are seemingly at the end of this pandemic. Now, this is all happening all at one time. There are some still weaknesses in the market. Facebook, okay, still very weak at 200. If it does break 200, that's a really important level for it to break. So that's also something to consider. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, trickling down to 36,800. Not there yet at 33,000, but getting closer. Okay, it's in between our two levels of 41,600 and 33,800 in the Fibonacci retracement. So if you look at a weekly, that's a pretty decent retracement there. Okay, altogether. Now, there's a bit of a head and shoulders here, but you know, ultimately 33,000 is a major support, so just be aware of that. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.